Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to talk to you about my experience yesterday. So yesterday I went to the NoVa Book Festival in Arlington, Virginia, and it was amazing. So I just wanted to tell you about like my experience, show you the things that I got while I was there, because of course I had to buy books. That's what I do. And yeah, that's about it. So let's just kind of get into my NoVa Book Festival experience. So I found out about this festival a week ago. Like, there was one awesome person, thank you Sally, on Facebook who just kind of randomly asked into one of the really big YA book groups that I belong to if anybody was going to it. And I was like, what is this you speak of? I've never heard of this thing. And then I did some Googling, found out that it is only 2 hours from where I am, which is not normal. Like, we don't have book things in this area. The closest thing that you can get to is like New York, which is still like a hike to get to. So even though I live in Pennsylvania and Virginia's like a few states away, it's only like about a 2-hour drive. So I was like, I can do this. I recruited my friend Shayna and we decided to go with a week before it to prepare. So we basically saw the list of authors and just started speed reading through books that we could try and get through before we got there to meet the authors, because all that I heard was about how relaxed this was and that you could bring as many books as you wanted to get signed. And I was like, I got books. Can you tell? I got books that need signing. So we did it. This is a young adult book festival that takes place in Washington Lee High School, which is a huge, beautiful high school. Like, if my high school looked like that, I probably would have enjoyed it more. It was just like phenomenally designed and it was very large, and it pretty much is right in the center of like the Washington DC area. So it's kind of like a main hub area, and it was just so cool. It was so well put together. The staff was amazing, and the list of authors was mainly the reason I wanted to go. Like, they had some really big names. The main reason I wanted to go was Tomi Adeyemi was signing, and in case you guys have been living under a rock, Children of Blood and Bone is about to blow up. I think that is going to be like the book of 2018. And it just released on Tuesday, so I actually haven't read that yet prior to going to the signing and meeting her, but I'm gonna get to it real soon because I have a buddy read coming up in a couple days, so I'm so excited that I got to meet her and I got to see her talk on a whole bunch of panels. She's amazing. But there was also Danielle Clayton, Jodi Meadows, Anna Marie McLemore, Audrey Coldhurst, which I was personally really excited about meeting, Sarah Glenn Marsh. Honestly, the list goes on and on and on. There was probably 30 big name authors there. Now, this isn't exactly like BookCon, like when you see people vlogging at like BEA and BookCon, it isn't crazy like that, which is probably a good thing for me because I would get like so overwhelmed. This is a very relaxed event and I loved it. It was very exciting. Everyone there was super fangirly about books, but it was mostly just a whole bunch of panels. Like, they had really big panels in the main auditorium, and then they had some breakout sessions in little classrooms where it was just little individual Q&A sessions with authors in a classroom, which was really cool. They had game panels and they had like mini panels, so it was pretty much like 4 or 5 main areas that you could rotate throughout the entire day, where there were always authors just talking about books or talking about specific topics in the YA community. And it was just very cool. So most of the day you could actually spend just like sitting down, watching amazing authors talk about books that they love, which was so cool. There was also like the main hallway that you walk in and everything is branched off of that. Of course, there was an entire row of tables of all of the books that you could buy of all of the authors that were there, because of course you're gonna do that. When you start hearing authors talk, you're like, oh man, I like this person. I wanna read their book. So there was like endless books that you could buy. I did good. I did good, guys. I didn't buy that much. There were t-shirts, so I bought a t-shirt, of course. And then there were a whole bunch of just kind of like local vendors for like libraries and stuff where you could just get swag, which is great. I love free swag. And for lunch, they had food trucks outside, which I'm down with some grilled cheese and donuts. That's a good day to me. And all in all, it just ran really smooth. Like, there were staff members everywhere. It was put on by One More Page bookstore, which is like a local bookstore down in Virginia, and the staff was amazing. Like, if you had any questions, they were more than happy to answer it for you. They were the people who kind of did the introductions and segues for all of the authors coming on and off the stage, and it just ran so smooth. And at the end of the day, after all of the panels and talks and games and everything were done, there was one really big signing that they ran really well. It went by wristband, so you weren't just like swarming all of the authors, but they set up the entire cafeteria with tables with authors all the way around it, and it was just really smooth and fluid. I got all of my books signed that I wanted to get signed, and I met Tomi Adeyemi, so I mean, that's an A+ day. I think that my favorite thing of the entire event was the vast age range of people that are there. So it's a teen book event and it's set in a high school, so of course there's gonna be teenagers there. That's to be expected, that's the target audience. But surprisingly, there were so many people my age, and I just love that YA, like young adult, actually means young adult now. It's not just like teenagers reading about teenagers. It's encompassing everybody who is like not fully peaked in their adulthood, which in my mind is like 20-somethings, because all the 20-somethings that I know, we don't know what we're doing in life, and I want to read about other people who don't know what they're doing in their life. So there was just a ton of people my age, and I made a lot of really good friends that are just in the book community. They're either other booktubers or bloggers or just fangirling about all of the books. But I think my favorite part was how many middle-aged people were there, and I loved it. There were so many like moms that were there without their kids. Like, they just love YA books, and they were standing in line with me for signings, just gushing about these books that they were so excited about. And they're books that I'm reading. Like, I talked with a woman who is probably in her 60s about how amazing The Hazelwood is. And it was just so cool. I just loved that it was like a huge range of people there who were just all excited for the same event. I also loved how like low-key everything was. Like, there were multiple times that we were just sitting in between the panels and chatting, and an author just kind of would like walk right by you or sit down next to you. I'd be like, oh, that's Susan Dennard. She stood in line with us to get grilled cheese. It was awesome. It was just very relaxed and not much pressure to like run from one area to the next or anything. So I will definitely be going next year. Next year I will plan way more in advance now that I'm aware that it exists. So if any of you are in like the Baltimore, Washington, DC, Pennsylvania, Virginia area, it's definitely worth the drive. For me, it was about 2 hours to get there, which was nothing compared to an entire day of YA book goodness and getting all of these books signed. So I'm gonna go through the stuff that I got. So basically, the book that I wanted to get signed was Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. And just, I've seen interviews, she's already been interviewed on Good Morning America, and I've seen her interviewed. She is just the coolest, most real, funny person. I love her. I haven't even read this yet, but I'm gonna love it. And it is signed to me, but the cool part about this signing was, obviously this was the longest line for signings because, hello, she's a big name. The PR that was there was like real good, because they had a thing where while you're waiting in line for your book to get signed, you could go on your phone and take a quiz to find out what clan you would be sorted into in this world. I don't know, I haven't read it. And when you got up there, you got an exclusive stamp for whatever clan you're in. So, spoiler, I'm in the Reaper clan, watch out. And then I got to meet Sarah Glenn Marsh, who wrote The Fear of the Drowning Deep, which I reviewed last year, and Reign of the Fallen, which came out this year. This is mainly what she was talking about this year. And she was like the first person that I ran up to in the whole like signing area, and she was so excited that I was so excited. She was adorable. So there's obviously some like swaggy type bookmarks for her books, but she also had some of the pre-order perks. So these are all of the character cards that you could get when you pre-order the book, which I didn't do because I got an arc of Reign of the Fallen. So she had a bunch of these and she had me grab them while she still had them, and I am forever thankful for that. Thank you so much, Sarah, and you look amazing. Your skeleton bracelet is the coolest thing ever, and your lipstick is on point, just saying. I also got to meet Danielle Clayton, who is adorable. Like, I loved her. So this was the book that I was in the middle of reading when I went there, and it's signed, which is awesome, but I was trying so hard to finish this book before I got there, and I literally had like 20 pages left, and I told her that at the signing, and she was just like, oh, so you know what's going on, and I was like, I know, but not everything. She was like, go read, go read. So I finished this since then. I finished it this morning now, but seeing her was awesome. She did the spotlight talk with Tomi Adeyemi, and she was kind of like the interviewer, just asking her friend questions. Like, they're really good friends, they're really good writing buddies, and seeing her interact with them was just awesome, and she was so cute. She asked everybody what they wanted their toy animal to be, which is relevant to the story if you've read The Bells. So she was awesome. I loved meeting her. I got my copy of To Kill a Kingdom signed by Alexandra Christo. This hasn't been hauled yet. I will do a separate haul, I guess, of books that I've received recently, but I did order some books prior to the signing because I knew I would be meeting them. But Alexandra Christo is awesome. First of all, she has the coolest accent in the world. Also, this book sounds amazing. I can't wait to get to it now that I've heard her talk about it because it just sounds like a really dark Little Mermaid story, and I'm here for that. The main keynote speaker was Anna Marie McLemore, who was amazing. Like, I'm pretty sure she made everybody cry at her keynote, and she's just so well-spoken and eloquent with how she says things. I know she said that she wouldn't be, but she was so good, and I'm so glad that they had her as a keynote speaker because it was a very like heart-wrenching speech that she made, and it was just awesome, so she was there as well. One of the 2 books that I picked up while I was there is one book that I've had my eye on for a little bit, and after seeing it in person and seeing the author speak, I was like, I need that. I need that in my life. The Wicker King by Kay Ancrum. I mainly picked this up because this is about a boy who steadily starts to hallucinate but doesn't know that he is, so it's kind of like one of those unreliable narrator situations, and the book itself gets darker and darker as he kind of descends into his madness. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? I picked this up at the table of all the books and I was like, oh, I have to have this now, and she's here so I can get it signed, so I did. She was awesome to talk to. I'm so glad I got to meet her and just kind of experience this with her. So I picked this up while I was there. I also picked up a copy of The Apocalypse of Alina Mendoza by Sean David Hutchinson. He is the author of We Are the Ants, which I haven't read, but is a lot of people's favorite book of all time in the YA world, so I'm gonna take that as a good sign. But Shayna, my friend who went with me, read this and adored it, like 5-starred it, said it was amazing, said I would love it, so I figured I was gonna get a copy while I was there. I mean, he's there, so I could get it like signed by him to me. But he was just so funny to listen to, so I'm very excited to get to this. Jodie Meadows was there as well, who wrote before she, well, she's written a lot, but Before She Ignites is her most recent book that she was talking about. We also had A.C. Goggin, which I read this prior to going to the signing because I wanted to know what it was about. This is a dark story, guys. If you guys haven't picked this up, it's pretty heavy to talk about. The author that, outside of a few of the ones that I already listed, the one that I most want to talk to face to face was Audrey Coulthurst. She's amazing. Mainly, I read Of Fire and Stars leading up to the signing, and I'm so glad that I did because I wanted to talk to her so bad because she's a fellow horse girl. And the amount of horse stuff that's in this book is amazing. So she was awesome. I stood there and I talked with her forever, and she just sat there and like drew in my book as we were talking. She also signed Ink Mistress, which is like her newest one that just released on Tuesday. She drew in this one too. I adore her. As a fellow horse person, thank you for being a good author about horse stuff in fantasy. And of course there's endless swag everywhere. Oh, I dropped that one. But a lot of these bookmarks are signed, which is pretty cool, so I'm glad that I picked them up. Also got the like exclusive poster for Children of Blood and Bone and a character art print that was on the table for the signing with Toby. So that is everything that I picked up while I was there. I think I did a pretty okay job. I only bought 2 books and a shirt while I was there, which is pretty good for me considering there was just tables and tables of books that I could have bought stuff from. But that is going to be it. I hope that if any of you guys are in this remote area that you will try going next year. I just feel like it was a very good experience. If you're in the YA community, just go check it out. I would love to meet you guys there next year, and I think that's gonna be it for this video. I have a lot of books that I am very excited to read now, so I think I'm gonna go do that. So I will see you guys in my next video.